This is how you crochet the Jasmine stitch or the daisy puff stitch part 3. For the rest of row 2, we're going to be working the exact same way we did in part 2. So instead of giving you detailed instructions on how to do the next section, I thought I could give you some tips on how to start your project using this stitch. So the first thing I want to point out is that the last foundation puff stitch is the first puff stitch of the second row. So whenever you're starting your third row, you're going to want to make just a regular foundation puff stitch with 8 loops. Finish that off before starting your sets of 3. Then if you want to make a blanket, I would recommend using the hook and the yarn that you plan on using for your blanket and making a practice swatch. This is also known as a gauge swatch, and it will help you determine how many foundation stitches you need to start out with. For example, I used 5 foundation puff stitches in this example, but since the 5th one is part of row 2, I'm only going to account for 4 of them. So if this swatch measures 4 inches and I have 4 foundation puff stitches, each puff stitch is going to be 1 inch. And if I want to make a blanket that is 40 inches wide, I would start out with 40 foundation puff stitches plus 1 puff stitch to start my foundation row. And then finally, if you like these kind of close-up crochet stitch tutorials, be sure to like and follow. I post them every single day on my page. And that's it. Happy hooking!